Executive Officer, Mr. Carl Daikeler!
It's so great that you guys came out on a Saturday. It really, I don't take it for granted at all, the fact that, a bunch of seats sitting in a conference, convention center, you got the, oh, there it is. You got the slideshow, the projectors, you got the requisite water in the background, you got a step and repeat for photos, and, this could be just any network marketing opportunity discussion, and we could be talking about soap, and we could be talking about beauty creams, and you could all be like, honey, I'm going to this meeting, I know it's Saturday morning, but I want to go do it, and I really think this is the one we're going to get rich, and it just looks the same, right? Like, this is what they look like. And, I stand back there and I'm like, God, I never thought I'd be a part of that. I never thought I'd be a part of a thing that just looked like all the other ones. And then you hear these stories, 177 pounds lost, a family that has the opportunity to get together because they made things happen. To go back to Philadelphia, right, there you go. You're matching. You put that together. By the way, I was named after a lacrosse player. Just want you to know that. There you go. But so you hear these stories and you see things, or you go to Summit and you see the emotional stories from people and engage in these massive super workouts. And every Friday, frankly, I get my inbox at about 3 o'clock or so starts to fill up with the success stories that were submitted to the Beachbody Challenge that week. And so they'll pull what they call the selects from that. And those are the selects that go into the running for the $500 a day prize, and then the $1,000, and the $5,000, and then up to the $100,000. And you look at these things, and you go, oh, wait a minute, this isn't, we're not in some room talking about how soap can change lives, and we're not talking about just a beauty product that happens to be a financial opportunity for people. This is upside down from that. And that's what's so special about it, because it's upside down because there's the opportunity here to touch people in ways that are so significant that completely change a trend in people's lives that is really real. And I'm not going to say the trend of obesity. I'm talking about the trend of low self-esteem and the trend of people feeling like they don't matter. And it's one thing to approach somebody with an opportunity or anything. I'm not saying anything bad about car dealerships or whatever, but you can sell a car to people, and it's great, and it's their first car, or they need to get around. We all need cars. Or there are these opportunities that special people step up for, where they can engage in a conversation and engage in a way where you go, hey, how are you? I call it the elevator conversation. Ding. How are you? I'm good. How are you? No. How are you? Like, who has that follow-up conversation? No, I mean, really, how are you? How many people will you ask today, how are you? Or how many people will ask you that question? And you, as Team Beachbody coaches, are tasked with the opportunity, and I mean it, you're tasked with this. This is the assignment, to follow up that question with another question. And that is, I really am asking, how are you? Because so many people, and even people in this room, and definitely people as you walk out there, are, whether it's, family situations, or background, or abuse, or addiction, or whatever, feel like they don't matter. and they just have walled themselves off, or they don't have the ability to forgive people that did things to them, and there's another wall, or something happens. They fail in something, and there's another wall, and they want to hide from that failure or whatever. And so they've walled themselves off, and people say, hey, how are you? And they answer the question, I'm okay, how are you? They just try to get over it, because they really don't want to get it, and then nobody stops them. Family members, co-workers, passers-by, nobody stops them and says, no, really, how are you? And when you do that as a Team Beachbody coach and truly stop the momentum of the conversation and say, no, really, how are you? And you don't do it in a way that's trying to like, let me get at your heart and pull it out. Look at that. It's not that good. No. What you're trying to do is, when you stop and try to get to know somebody, the business, this is when I say the business turns around. Turns upside down, because you have the opportunity to find out why somebody doesn't feel good about themselves, what's bothering them from a financial situation. They might be in debt. You might notice that they're low on energy, and this is the job, by the way. Part of the job is to pay attention. Hey, notice that here we are at this party or whatever. I notice you're standing way over there. I'm talking to you. You get a kid. You're standing way over there by yourself. And you're hanging out by yourself. When we say invite, 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 it's almost poorly named. What we mean is connect, connect, connect. Okay? It's not about going out there, would you come, like one of those people in Vegas cars, Tiffany's dancing tonight. Tiffany's dancing. Sorry to Tiffany's. But she was dancing, which is fantastic. But the point is, invite, invite, invite really means connect, connect, connect. And when you do that with people, whether it's for their health, you represent this amazing shape. Whether it's for their fitness, you represent this line of amazing products that have all been tested, each one of them which solves a different hurdle or reason that people wouldn't want to work out. Or you find out that somebody's just deep in debt and they don't know how to get out of it, and they're not the kind of people that want to stack up 3 or 4 jobs. And you have this opportunity to say, hey, I've got something, I've been a witness to what people have done that has changed their lives. Do you want to talk about it? That's when I always say it's not selling, it's sharing. It's getting to know somebody. It's connecting to somebody. So what's exciting to me about this configuration of this room is the fact that I'm surrounded by people right now, and I get to be surrounded by 623 people who are employees, who are of this ilk, who do it for more than just a job. I'm surrounded by now 213,000 coaches. What are we here? 15,000? What are we? 13, 14,000? 14,000 in Canada, and I go, how am I lucky enough? I get all this silly credit as the CEO of this place, but somehow I've managed to have been surrounded by all these incredible people with these incredible hearts who want to do something more than sell soap, who want to do something more than balance the books in some cubicle somewhere. They want to do something special that not only has the opportunity to help you achieve your goals to lead healthy, fulfilling lives, you have the opportunity to do that for other people. And when I look at the opportunity in Canada, think about it. We say, 213,000 coaches overall. I'm sorry, Jeff, but that's just not enough. 213,000, that's how many we should have in Vancouver. You know what I'm saying? Like, right now, this thing has just gotten started. There are so many nice people out there who want to help other people. They just don't know the forum in which to do it. Your jobs, like this is the size of one of these huge meetings that we had when we first started. David was there. We'd have a meeting like this. I'm like, there are 200 people out there. We are successful. And here you are. You guys are now on the ground floor of launching in Canada. And you've got big jobs to do, and every moment of this can be incredibly fulfilling, or it can be incredibly agonizing and horrific. Let me tell you how it can be agonizing and horrific. It's going to be agonizing and horrific if you approach it with complete, okay, they told me I should have a goal, I need to have a why. My why is to be 3-star diamond by December. Oh my God, I need to get Success Club. And you use all these milestones that are very important, and we put them in place so that you sort of have a pathway to a level of financial success for yourself. But that's not the point. It's going to be agony if that's the way you approach it. But if you approach it without thinking, how do I get the next person? And instead, you wake up and you find a way to do this. Post-it notes around the house. And I mean that quite literally. Like whatever you see first in the day, remind yourself, I'm going to help some people today. I'm going to connect with some people today. So while the vital behavior is invite, 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 you want to make sure that you come from a place of, I'm going to help somebody today. The example that I use is, we're a volunteer sales force, okay? So nobody's making you be here. Your own circumstances, your own goal is what's making you be here. So remember, that's the reason that you're here. But when you go, you wake up Monday morning, you're like, do I want to do it today? I really don't want to invite today. Just sort of watch TV and think about it. I'm going to make some plans today. I'm going to make plans on how I'm going to invite them. I've got a plan. Maybe if I get into the 21-day fix first, I'm going to start with a 3-day refresh. And, what are you doing, honey? I'm making a plan to invite. I'm a coach and I'm planning. And then Tuesday comes along and my plan isn't totally complete. So I haven't thought enough about Shakeology. I'm going to make a list of people, and then Wednesday comes, you're like, okay, I haven't invited anybody this week, so there's something missing in my plan. You need to get out of planning mode, get out of your head, and just connect to people. That's what I'm asking of you. And that's going to be horrific unless you approach it from the perspective of trying to help them. If somebody fell on the sidewalk, like if somebody, you're walking and somebody fell, it would be like your reflex, can I help you? What can I do? Are you okay? Can I help you? They might be like, get away from me. Or they might be like, oh, thanks, I'm okay. They might be, can you help me up? Right? That reflex that you've got, and I hope you can try to internalize this a little bit. That reflex is the reason that we have made our company mission. Help people achieve their goals to lead healthy, fulfilling lives. Because people they have fallen on the ground, metaphorically speaking, they've fallen on the ground, and they can't get up. Their goals, their fulfillment is just sort of stuck there. Quick aside, because I have to get it out of my head. Remind me if I forget. There was a person on the ground here. We were talking about revising the Tai Chang infomercial, and so we're going to work on that. And we were thinking, you've probably all seen these ads, I've fallen and I can't get up. So we're going to start the ad with, this lady falls down, and she goes, I've fallen and I can't get up. And we're going to have somebody with a Tai Chang t-shirt laughing at her. Now, maybe that wouldn't be in the right spirit of Beachbody. The guy did Tai Chang and didn't fall down. So, okay, anyway, so there's a person here on the ground. Right? But they're not on the ground that they just fell over. Like, metaphorically, they're on the ground. They don't know how to reach their goals. They don't know how to lead a healthy, fulfilling life. You, as human beings, fantastic Canadians or wherever you're from, if you came up from the States or whatever, have the opportunity, if not the obligation, to reach over, to go over them and connect. Now, it's not as obvious because the people aren't actually on the ground, but I'm telling you, everybody you meet today, in some level of their life, most likely would love to be able to tell somebody what's on the ground for them. What can you do? And maybe it's not going to relate to Team Beachbody at all, but they're going to be like, wasn't that nice to meet somebody? And they might go, I met this lady the other day who was so kind to me, and she asked me how I was, and she really meant it. And she said that she's putting a challenge group together for people who want to get in shape. It's going to be a nice. She represents these products, but it's more than a gym or just another DVD because they help each other get results. I'm going to recommend that nice lady to my aunt who really needs somebody. See what's happening here? So just by the fact that you approach this from the perspective of connecting, reverberates. And that's the job. That's why I'm saying Monday morning, don't stay in planning mode. The plan's done. Invite. Connect. Be the proof the product works. You got to do your workout. You have to drink your Shakeology, which I'll get to in a second. And you got to do your personal development. You know, somebody who asked me what book I recommend. Okay, so I forget your name. Tiffany. Amazing. 9:30 at the Kit Kat. I'm just kidding. Sorry, that could be offensive. I could be sued. But she asked me, "Hey, what would you recommend for a personal development book?" And I struggle with that because when we talk about personal development, you need to look at everything you do in this business needs to be conscious. So you look at personal development, you go, what is it that has knocked me off of the rails of my goals before? So don't just read what everybody else is reading. You know, a lot of people read GoPro or Compound Effect, and these are the books that we have the success magazine stuff in the back office that you pay for. Great stuff. But don't just sort of go into it because everybody else is reading it. Look inside and you go, what's the thing about me? I have a hard time introducing myself to people, or I have a hard time making friends, or I waste a lot of time. Whatever the thing is for you, that's what personal development is. It's personal, right? So you look at it, if the issue is that you have a hard time meeting people, which I think is one of the big ones, especially for new coaches, I'd recommend How to Win Friends and Influence People. The first chapter of that book, Dale Carnegie, How to Win Friends and Influence People. The first chapter of that book will blow your mind, right? And when he just talks about, you know, how do dogs go around? Dogs don't have a job, but somehow they get fed and they have houses and everything. And how do they do that? They just run up to you and care about you, right? Like it's just. Anyway, it's a great book. So so just be a dog, wag your tail, and go meet people. You don't need to get the book. Just be a dog. So that's personal development. Do your own type of personal development. But let me go back to something that I'm so passionate about. There's so many things going on, and sometimes it's difficult because we kind of live 6 months to a year in the future at the headquarters, because we're always working on next products, next promotions, 3-year planning, and so on. So I can stay here, right now. Now, in terms of Shakeology, somebody just finished hers. Bathroom's over there. People don't. It's so easy to look at this shake as one of those shakes. Again, here we are, 200 seats in a room, a bunch of people talking, they're clapping, they have a financial opportunity, so represent that shake and push that shake, and that's absolutely not what it's about. What that shake represents is the refusal to compromise. We had the opportunity when we said we were going to go into network marketing, that we knew we wanted to have some sort of meal replacement shake there. We already had a vanilla shake, it was just called meal replacement shake. We could have repackaged it, created a story around it, and it cost, I think, $29 or $39.95 for 30 servings. It's right in the sweet spot of what people can afford. We could tell a story about it, replace a meal, you'll lose weight, blah, blah, blah. And we were like, yeah, but that's, I looked at it personally, and I'm like, nah, that's just not, I don't want to drink that shake to replace a meal. And, you know, I go up and down, maybe 5, 10 pounds, whatever, I sort of swing depending on my ability to pass a pizza place, which is a very bad discipline. So it was like, I want, you know, and the story is that, you know, I ate like a second grader. And I literally, you know, pizza, burgers, whatever, and I don't like vegetables, so I'm like, there's got to be something. And so we started looking at these green shots. Like if we create, I can just get 1 green shot a day, you know, 4 ounces, I'll chug it, and I'll be done. There's got to be a way to powder broccoli so that I can knock it back. And so that was the original goal. And then Darren and Isabel, they started to work on this, and they started to find a way to maybe make it taste a little better, and they looked at some exotic ingredients, adaptogens, and phytonutrients, and this stuff started to materialize. That was like, oh my God, this could really be like a breakthrough meal, like a thing that you drink that could truly enhance everything about your biology, because these adaptogens go in and they look around for what's wrong. Like this crazy, these adaptogens are plants that grow, or ingredients or elements that grow basically at altitude. So they have to survive in crazy conditions that swing degrees and climate and all this stuff in the middle of the day. So they're constantly adapting. And so those adaptogens happen to do that. Ashwagandha, camu, maca, these things go in and they actually somehow they help heal, not in an acute way, it's not like a drug, but they go in and they help the body heal itself, basically. So we started to experiment with these, and they became a thing, and some of it it tasted better than this 4 ounces of green stuff that I was drinking, but it still didn't taste good, and we went farther and farther, and then we got to sort of a locked formula, and the numbers came back. I was like, this thing's going to cost $200 a month for people. I was like, what? I was like, yeah, it's going to be around $7 a serving if we're going to run at the same margins that most network marketing companies run, so that there's a good financial opportunity. I was like, okay, well that really doesn't work. That's going to be a difficult sell for people. I was like, I would drink it, but I'm sort of in a different financial position, and we're trying to attract a lot of people who can't afford these kind of things. So pen to paper, kept working, kept looking for what's redundant in the formula, how can we source this from a different place, what sort of deals can we do direct with these farmers. Like these farmers, like people ask, hey, why isn't this thing stamped organic? Because the organic inspection process just doesn't exist in this little farm in Peru where they're all still picking up maca root by hand. That inspection process doesn't exist. They don't even know what pesticides are. They're just a bunch of people growing to go out and do the work. And I was driving through upstate New York yesterday, and people were, these guys had these, they were selling stuff by the side of the road, and it was like all these tchotchke little things. And I was like, wow, man, we've really changed as a society, that's the job that you've got to have, where I set up 4 card tables and I'm selling little toys by the side of this 8-lane highway. Do you want a toy? Would you like to have a toy? You know, and instead there's farmers in Peru growing this miracle root that comes up, maca, or ashwagandha out of India, which is Ayurvedic and balances the body. This amazing stuff. So we started to refine it, and then we did a test study, and we saw that it reduced cholesterol in people, and helped their weight loss, not just by the fact that they were working out at the same time, but actually helped their body metabolize fat faster and increase and support their metabolism so that it didn't without extra exercise. Like, all these great things happened, and we got it down to the point, and we sacrificed our profit margin, and we got it to the point that we could sell it for now $130 American. I don't know what that is, $8,000 Canadian. But here's the point. You guys have an opportunity here that is unbelievable. I drove to, I needed to get lunch really fast. I'd already had my Shakeology, and I went to this Subway, and you guys like, I got a sandwich, a 6-inch flatbread thing. You put turkey on, you put some spinach on it, put some mayonnaise on it, and you put, what else did I have? I don't really like anything else. Yeah, I put something else, I forget, but maybe a tomato. I pulled that off and threw it away later. But he folded this thing over, and so how much was that? It was like, I got a bag of baked chips, and that was $5.75 or something. And I was just like, are you kidding me? Like, if I put this chocolate shake that I actually dump an alkalinizer in it from the Ultimate Reset too, so I get extra green. So if I put that amazing shake, which I probably, because I put that in, it's probably like $5 a serving, versus this $5 sandwich, which one is going to help my body fuel itself, run itself, so that I think better, so that I have more energy, so I can run this company? This thing wins every day. Is the most incredible value that we could put out as a company. And you, every day, are going to face this resistance to, why would I spend that much for a bag of powder? It's not a bag of powder. It is an outrageously potent blend of superfood nutrition. And if you want to be successful in this business, not just not just by selling the most, but if you want to be successful in this business at truly enhancing and changing the health of the people that you meet, you got to get to know that shake, you got to drink that shake, and you got to believe in that shake, because it is outrageous how much time, energy, and care is put into maintaining and constantly improving that formula. What you represent there, the fitness is amazing. The portion control of 21-Day Fix is like a breakthrough. But the fact that it's attached to this shake that makes eating, that consuming nutrition, and real nutrition, not just macros, protein, fats, carbs, but the fiber, the phytonutrients, the antioxidants, the stuff we don't get enough from. By representing that, you have the ability to completely transform the health of this country. And I mean it in a big way. The fact that there's only 14,000 coaches right now representing this shake, poised for our launch August 28th, is actually almost criminal. Like, what are we doing? There's a real problem up here. I've got relatives in Montreal, in the Montreal area, and I hear, you know, the waiting, they need to get a procedure or a checkup, whatever, and what they have to wait for, trying to get into the doctor that they want, is just outrageous. But the point is, and people, and there's a lot of fundraising up here, it's really great, let's stamp out cancer, let's fight this, and it shouldn't happen. Why don't people start stamping out cancer and disease now? By drinking a shake or making the choices and the sacrifices to not consume the things that create cancer now. That's how we beat cancer. That's your job. It's a really big deal. I get invited and people ask for money, and you know, I'm a target for, you know, hey, can you give money for this? And I basically target my charitable giving toward a few things that I do each year, but I do them big. So, International Justice Mission, we raised over, you know, we're coming up on close to $2 million this year that we've given to help end human trafficking and sex slavery around the world. There's rain catchers, which we've installed, I think it's something like 30 of these like massive tanks that catch the rain that falls in Africa. There's plenty of water in Africa, they just don't have a way to catch it and store it. So it ends up running down these rivers, and then the villagers, the women actually walk like 3, 4, 5 miles a day, get this water, carry it up on their head, they carry these jugs, and they are attacked, because everybody knows they're going to be walking. So they're attacked on their way either to or from these rivers. So instead, we install these massive rain catchers against the schools, and all the water runs down into the big tank that we have, and it's a clean tank, and so that basically, I think 30, each one serves something like 200 kids. You do the math, I think that's 6,000 something people, I think more. It's more than that. Anyway, a lot of people have access to water now because of what we do. So that's the stuff that I get involved in. But people are like, well, now what about cancer? Let's walk for cancer and all that stuff. And great. And diabetes, and type 2 diabetes, really bad. And I'm like, totally agree. And here's where I'm fighting that. I'm fighting that by trying to help people not get it in the first place.
Yeah.
Like, by promising. It is taboo. It is taboo. Because you know, and my family's been touched by cancer. I've dealt with it, and I mean, not personally, but my family has had a real struggle with this. And so you want to be there for them, and you absolutely want to look at it and be compassionate and help, but at the same time that we want to stop it. Our job, and this is not just cancer or type 2 diabetes, but this is all the other things that they call lifestyle disease, heart disease, and so on. All this stuff, lifestyle disease, like, when did lifestyle become a disease? But it has become one, and we're bombarded with advertising, Doritos and chicken wings, and here comes football season, man. Get ready for the parade of stuff that can kill you to be advertised to you. And I'm not saying that it's bad, that you have to avoid it all the time, but what I'm saying is what we do as Team Beachbody and as coaches and as an opportunity is just trying to protect. Okay, so this is another metaphor. The plate and this portion of the plate that gets squeezed by everything else. And this is what's happened in society, where you got to work so hard. You want to take care of your family and try to get ahead. The haves and the have-nots have gotten farther apart, so you want to work harder. So the one thing that gets squeezed out of this, because when you work that hard, you need more gratification, and just give me a treat, and people judge me more, and blah, blah, blah. So the thing that gets squeezed out of the day is portion control, healthy food choices, because I just need a treat, or exercise, because I just don't have time because I'm working 2 jobs, and the kids are exhausted, and please, when is The Apprentice on? You know, so it's like, so all these things compete for your time, and the one thing that goes is making a healthy choice. We, as Team Beachbody coaches, try to make portion control and nutrition and exercise gratifying enough that it might be able to compete with all that other noise that we're going to hear all throughout football season. And we don't want to tell people that they can't have the chicken wings or the pizza or the chips. What we're saying is, on a daily basis, protect this one sliver of healthy living that might help you enjoy that for the rest of your lives, be there for your family, and engage in a healthy, fulfilling life. That's what it's about. That's what connecting is. That's what being the proof the product works. Doesn't mean you need to be a hard body. I'm not asking you to be a hard body. What I'm asking you to do is drink this shake, understand this shake, and do some exercise so that you can be a part of the movement that moves away from accepting a thing called lifestyle disease and toward personal responsibility. That means I'm going to do something so that this body works well, so that I don't have to get plugged into this broken medical system for something that I can completely avoid. That's what being a Team Beachbody is. And on top of that, you know, it's hard. Oh my God, I talk a long time. I'm so sorry. I'm just going to go through that. So, okay, so, and then, so the personal development, why is it important? It's because what I'm asking you to do, I have to do personal development constantly. I am a broken, imperfect, complex, ridiculous mess of a person. And I try to figure it out every single day. And at the same time that I don't want, you know, every one of us in here is running a movie. So I've got my own little personal movie here, and you're all players in my movie, and I'm a player in your movie, right? So you want your movie to be interesting. So I'm constantly, I don't want to live a boring movie. So I'm working on my movie, and at the same time, I want my movie to have a good meaning. I want it to have be meaningful in some way. So I was reading some posts, we have a thing called The Wall, and I was reading some posts about people who get fits and starts, and they plateau, and they get a little bored with it, or they go into management mode, and they just want to manage, and all I'm going to do is bring leaders along, and I'm like, man, your movie, your movie's getting boring to me, so I hope it's not boring to you, but I like an exciting movie that's constantly engaging, constantly improving, and constantly doing more. And whether that more is creating more value so that I can give more, or creating more value so that I can help more people and hear more incredible stories that get up here. As a coach, part of your job in doing this personal development is going to be, how do you figure out to stay engaged in this thing, even beyond when you're successful, so that you can leave a very dramatic mark and a legacy on the world. That's what we're going to need for us to drive through Canada. I don't need all of you to just become emerald. I need a handful of you, 10 of you in here maybe, to be super, super duper superstar leaders, and to take this thing so far that it gives shivers to anybody who you encounter, because they just go, what have you done? How many people have you helped? What kind of superhero are you? They've already got superhero outfits, by the way, Miguel and his team. So they're ahead of the curve. But David keeps working it. He can work it harder. Miguel keeps working it. He can work it harder. I keep working it. I'm going to try to work it harder, even within all our flaws. And even within the fact that we still got to do the reading, because we're still going to hit things that knock us off our personal rails and our objectives. Things are going to come in. Life is going to happen. Family's going to get sick. We're going to have to attend to that. That's going to take our eye off the ball, so we do personal development so that we get back into it. At the end of the day, there is no other situation or scenario that I know of where there is more potential wealth to be created, which can also at the same time change lives in such a dramatically positive way. This is the one. But it's going to take really special people to do it. And I think I'm surrounded by them in this room to get it started. And August 28th, you guys get called up to varsity. And it's not going to be perfect. I promise you we're going to make mistakes. We're going to have to figure out all this stuff, exchanges and surcharges and all that stuff. And that is all noise and BS. The point is, we have the most potent shake on the planet. We have the most amazing trainers and fitness programs. And we have you, for the first time ever, to help people stay accountable to this. I'm not saying gyms are a bad thing. Gyms are a great thing. But whenever I've been a member of a gym, I walk in there and it's a solo act, man. Maybe the lady says hi when she goes, bleep. When I think, bleep, you're a member. Okay, bye. You're on your own now. We have coaches and groups and challenge groups that help people stay accountable to their goals. You have the opportunity. The fact that you're here is special, but you have the opportunity to be outrageously special and so important, and to matter to people who want to be told that they matter. They want somebody to have, with compassion and forgiveness and acceptance of who they are, to say, with all your imperfections, how can I help you work on the stuff that you want to improve? That's what I'm here for, to help people achieve their goals, to lead healthy, fulfilling lives. I'm not trying to sell you anything. It might cost some money, and it's going to cost you commitment. If you're willing to bring some money, which is it's a very affordable situation. If you're willing to bring your investment and your commitment, then I'm going to help you keep up with it. That's what Team Beachbody is, and when people join this, they're going to hopefully help us build this force of good to really change the nature of health and fitness in Canada. And it's going to be up to you, and I know you can do it. Thanks for having me.
Woo!
What do you want me to do? Pick a ticket? What do I do?
Pick a ticket. So
I'm just kidding. I'm going to try to.
I'm gonna